What the heck is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Kind of Funny Xcast, your home for all things Xbox here at Kind of Funny. Of course, I'm one of your show hosts, Snowbike Mike, and today I am joined by just one of my gaming dads. For all of you in the comments out there, Gary's doing great. He's extremely busy. We're so proud of him getting back into the Hollywood scene. He's working on a lot of dope projects, and of course, he is missed, but he will return soon enough. But of course, I get more one-on-one time with you, Parris Lilly, and that always makes me smile. How are you, Mr. Parris Lilly?
Oh, I'm doing great. And it's funny you bring up Gary because I've been watching Shogun.
Oh,
dude, it's so good.
Dude.
I would love to hear his opinion on Shogun right now because it's just phenomenal. It's just such a great series.
It's
right,
the talk
that I
of the
highly
town.
recommend. Yeah.
Oh, man, I can't. All my friends are talking about that. Of course, we just got done with Dune 2 as well, seeing that in theaters, Parris. I mean, we're eating well. We're having fun on video games and entertainment. It's been great.
By the way, and I don't mean to sidetrack the show at the top, I've not been a Dune guy. Like, I remember as a kid, the 84 movie, never really paid it any mind. It was never my thing. Bro, I didn't even really know there were books in the 60s. I didn't know. And then that first Dune movie came out during the pandemic. I didn't really pay attention to it. And then obviously the sequel just happened. I'm seeing what Kind of Funny saying. I'm seeing everybody's like praising it. All right, let me go watch the Dune movie. So I went and watched, the new one, the first one, part one. Hey, this is pretty freaking interesting. I love this kind of sci-fi.
Hey now.
I literally watched it, took an hour break, and went right to the IMAX theater.
Oh.
And saw it in 70 millimeter IMAX part 2. Blew me away. Absolutely blew me away. It's so good. And then now I'm obsessed. Bro, I went back and watched the 84 movie. Yeah. Now I remember as a kid why I was never into it. It's not good.
Yes.
It's just simply not good. It's kind of all over the place. But Patrick Stewart is in it, which blew my mind.
Whoa.
That he was in it back in the day. But I'm now just fascinated by this with the history of it. I do think I'm going to go read Messiah, the book, just so I can get a sneak peek as to where they're going, because we're not going to get Messiah as a movie till probably 2027.
Oh I know.
I think you should wait.
I'm not waiting 3 years. There's no way.
Because man, like Messiah is gonna be crazy.
I know. But one little trivia note, just in my obsession research. I guess they almost did a Dune movie in the mid 70s, like around 73, 74, and it fell apart with the original creator. It fell apart. And it's, I guess, considered the biggest what if, because obviously George Lucas came right after that with Star Wars. So they're saying if the Dune movie would have come out in the early 70s, it completely would have changed cinema and sci-fi.
Wow.
Versus what we got with Star Wars. So it's my new obsession. I got to know more about it, but I love it. I love the world of Dune and just all the politics, just everything, false prophecy, all this stuff, man. It's crazy.
Well, Parris, I'll tell you, and I'll encourage everyone out there that's watching and listening right now, if you haven't gone to the theaters to go see this movie, if you're semi-interested in it, you should take the plunge because it is a ton of fun. And if you want more Dune in your life, guess what, Parris Lilly? I'm going to tease you today because I've been playing Microsoft Flight Simulator with the team here at Kind of Funny, and we played the Dune activities. And I'll tell you what, if you want more Dune, you need to jump into Microsoft Flight Sim because they crushed it. But I'll tell all of you about that in just a little bit because, of course, this is the Kind of Funny Xcast. We post each and every Thursday at 6 a.m. West Coast, Best Coast time on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames and, of course, on podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do here at Kind of Funny, please consider supporting us with the official Kind of Funny membership found on Patreon and on YouTube. That is where you will get the very best of Kind of Funny. You can watch our shows live as we record them. You'll get ad-free viewing and listening. And of course, you will get the daily exclusive piece of content from one Greg Miller. So we would love your support to help keep this awesome small business alive with 11 full-time employees. And of course, talking about support, hey, Xbox fans out there, I need your support. And the team over at Obsidian and Xbox need your support because we're going to PAX East together. A very special announcement that I get to share. I will be hosting the official Obsidian and Grounded PAX East panel with the talented folks from Obsidian Entertainment. I'm so jazzed up. That will be Saturday, March 23rd at 2:30 East Coast time. Of course, you can find that on twitch.tv/PAX2 if you can't attend. But if you are there, please come on by, celebrate Grounded with us, learn more about what is coming your way in the Grounded universe, and of course, get to see me do my first ever panel officially. Parris, very special moment for me. Awesome to be able to celebrate this with you and all of our Xcast best friends. I am truly thankful for everything that you all have brought to me and helped me do. And to the Xbox team and Obsidian, thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me to host and celebrate Grounded. I think I'm so excited about that. I cannot wait.
First of all, congratulations, my friend. It is well deserved that you're going to get this opportunity. And I don't say it lightly. You are one of the best hosts in this entire thing, if not the best. In everything that we do with all this podcast stuff, definitely better than Greg for sure.
Oh, thank you.
But no, seriously, you're awesome, dude, and you're just such a fantastic host. I know you're gonna kill it on that panel. It's gonna be great, man. Congratulations.
Thank you, Parris. It means a lot coming from you. And the special one is we get to celebrate, right? This isn't gonna be anything tough for me. It will be fun stepping into a new arena in a panel-like situation in a live audience. That will be a ton of fun. I love PAX and what they do, but most importantly, I love Grounded and the team over at Obsidian. You and I have talked about that awesome passion project from a small team out of Obsidian, what they've created, and I'm excited to celebrate them and really share with the audience all the awesome milestones that they have hit. So tune into that. You'll see me on Saturday over at PAX East if you're there. But talking about support, we always like to thank those who support us over on Patreon, like our Patreon producers for the month: Carl Jacobs, Kieran, Hovo Sapien, and Delaney Twining. Thank you so much for your support. This week, the Kind of Funny Xcast is sponsored by Shady Rays and Factor, but I'll tell you all about that in just a little bit. Parris, let's go back to Dune, because I want to talk to you about what you've been playing lately. And, Dune is hot right now, and I love what Microsoft Flight Sim does with these tie-ins. They crushed it with Top Gun. We talked about that experience and what they did there. They have teamed up with the Dune team, and you can go to Arrakis and actually fly the Ornithopter, which is so much fun. That mix of the helicopter. Ornithopter. Thank you on that one.
Ornithopter.
Every time I say it wrong. It's so much fun. It's the dragonfly.
I have a story. Okay? I have a story on that, but please continue.
I will tell you, Parris, every time they team up with these movie tie-ins, they go above and beyond. And it's so cool because now you get to go to Arrakis and you were on the desert planet. You see the spice all over the place. You even see spice harvesters in the distance, which is really cool, Parris. But it's the full world and it's special. Mm-hmm. And man, oh man, they have 3 pieces of tutorial from takeoff to landing. And then on top of that, they have the dive mechanic with this Ornithopter. And I'll tell you what, it is so freaking cool to dive bomb this dragonfly machine. It's cool as can be. And then there's also 6 activities you can do, 5 time trials that are really going to test you, that I'm impressed with. It goes from flight to landing, back to flight to landing. And that's usually how these time trials go. It really gets you up and down a lot, which I'm excited about. And then on top of that, there's some really cool canyon runs. You're going to take this machine into some tight areas and really have to maneuver, which I was impressed with. And then the final one, you have to save a pilot from a giant sandstorm and the sandworm coming. And it's one of the coolest experiences around because you have to come in at Mach speed, Parris. You slow down, you park the thing, he runs into the back, and you got to do this canyon trench run that is so difficult. It's awesome, Parris. So you got to play it.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. But I do have to tell you my funny story. So you remember last year I went to Budapest to film the flight sim segment for this. If you go back and watch it, I don't think you hear me say ornithopter once. And the reason being, I could not say it for my effing life. I could not pronounce it. I kept screwing it up to the point where I think York says it. You never hear me say it. I just kept screwing it up the whole time. So it's one little funny thing. But bro, it's like looking back now and experiencing part 2 and just everything. The fact that I actually got to go to where they filmed it.
Whoa.
I was there. I sat in an ornithopter. I did it. I was literally there where they kept all the props and everything for Dune in Budapest. And Yeah, it's one of those moments that you don't realize. Well, I knew it was awesome, but looking back now, almost a year later, going, wow, I was there. Look, this epic movie that people are going to be talking about for years to come. I got to see where they did it all. So
Yeah.
it was just such a cool thing. But yeah, I'm really glad that you got to play it in Flight Sim because, again, even when we were filming that and talking to Jorg and just how excited he was about the partnership with WB, being able to put that into Flight Sim and just all the research and the work that they did. Obviously, this is a sci-fi fictional world, but they tried to make this as authentic as it was to the world of Dune. I just remember how excited and proud he was for that. So for the movie to finally come out now and they're able to bring the expansion out, everybody just gets to check it out for themselves, which is awesome.
Yeah, a big win, and it's a free update, so you can go on there, you can download it, get involved. Parris, it's awesome. And you know what?
Yeah.
Getting that little taste of these activities that aren't just time trials, that make you kind of work a little bit differently, gets me really excited for the next Microsoft Flight Sim. You know, I know it's coming right around the corner, hopefully, and I'm excited to see what kind of cool activities and the things they thought of, because you and I talked about after the Rose Bowl, the idea of having the perfect timing of the big flight jets over the stadiums would be a cool idea. What else could they add? I can't wait to see.
No, absolutely. And I think you nailed it because what they were able to do with this Dune expansion was almost like a test run for what people can expect in Flight Sim 2024, which I'm assuming, it's going to be out this year. I don't think they put an actual date on it, but I'm sure we'll hear about that pretty soon, maybe at the showcase or something like that. But that's the premise, giving people things to actually go do other than just fly around in Flight Sim. So I'm really looking forward to that. It should be fun.
Yeah, I can't wait for this one, Parris. And so I encourage everyone, if you're riding the high of Dune right now, if you're freaking out over the spice, you should go check out the Microsoft Flight Sim Dune activities. It's a ton of fun. Another one for you, Parris. I know you're my old head. You're my gaming dad, so you probably know about this game. I have actually never played a Contra in my life. And today, me and the boys over at Kinda Funny actually played all of the brand new Contra Operation Galunga. It was fun, Parris. It was challenging. It was difficult. And it is cool to be able to experience that with my friends because I've always been a Metal Slug kid, putting quarters in the machine. I've never played Contra. So to experience this for the first ever time, it was a good time, Parris.
No, up, down, left, right, BA start. That is burned into my brain for the rest of my life because, yeah, man, when I was a kid in the 80s, NES, Contra, that was a thing. And if people don't know what I'm talking about, you would enter that code and that would basically unlock invincibility mode. Like you could just run through the game and don't have to worry about dying, stuff like that. But yeah, man, Contra's a classic. So really, really happy to see it come back.
Yeah, a classic. And this one's a fun one, Parris. It is up to 4 players, co-op on the couch, which is really cool to grab the gang, get on the couch and be able to play this. Of course, I'm always disappointed when it's not online co-op, but the idea of getting your friends on the couch again was really fun and special. And like I said, it was brutal. It's challenging. Thankfully, there are perk packages that you could buy after every level. You kind of accruing some credits that you can then go to the perk store and buy different perks. So you can add on more health bars if you want. You can buy extra lives. You can buy certain types of guns to always start with. But man, the game has a really cool art style. There's some really cool ways that they work with the 2D kind of just side-scrolling effect that it normally is, the running gun, and kind of move the screen in different ways. Of course, you're climbing up and down. There's some brutal boss battles with some cool-looking enemies. So I was very pleased with my experience with Contra. 8 levels, so nice. Something to be mindful of. We played through it. It does have a cool story that they're telling, but if you play challenge mode with your friends, you skip kind of all the stories and just run through the 8 levels together, which was a good time, which I enjoyed.
That's awesome.
Parris, have you been playing anything that you want to share with the gang?
I think, we were joking before the show started. I've been playing stuff on PlayStation, so I don't think we're going to talk about that here. Yeah, but yeah, I've been previewing Rise of the Ronin, and obviously I'll leave that to Greg and Blessing and all of them to talk about that when all the embargoes are up. But one thing I have been playing on PC, I got the Portal Revolution, like Portal 2. It's a mod for
I
Portal
played
2.
that.
Yeah, really fun. I just love the challenge. I just love having new scenarios to be able to do in Portal. So I've been checking that out. Helldivers 2, everybody's playing Helldivers 2. That's just a freaking blast. Not as much as I would like, just because of other stuff we can't talk about yet. I've been playing as well. But one thing that I did get to play that I know you played as well, you did it on stream, is No Rest for the Wicked.
Yes.
From Moon Studios. I freaking love that, man. I cannot wait till early access comes in April for that. And for people that may not know what we're talking about, that's coming from Moon Studios. People, they made Ori and the Blind Forest, but this is an action RPG top-down Souls-like game, for lack of a better term. I love it. I love the challenge in it. I love the art style that they have in it. I know Andy was even talking about this on Gamecast because he really likes it too. But yeah, this might be the sleeper hit. And for 2024, they kind of laid out the roadmap they're going to have, the multiplayer aspects they're looking to put into it too. But yeah, it looks fantastic. And knock on wood, hopefully we can get somebody from Moon Studios to come on Xcast, talk about it even more. But this looks like a sleeper hit for them for sure. I'm definitely keeping this on my radar as it goes through early access, that I think as people get access to it, they're really, they're going to gravitate to this. They're going to like it. If you're into Elden Ring and all the Souls-like games, you're going to like this.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Parris. This one, coming from Moon Studios, when you think of Moon, you think of Ori, right? And for me, I was like, oh man, we'll probably get more Ori would be the dream. Of course, I love that partnership with Xbox and that character they've created along with that world. I was really getting into the Metroidvanias, but to see this team say, oh, we're shifting and we're going to try something different, I was like, okay, what do you got? And I was pleasantly surprised. Everything you just said, the art style really comes right off the screen at you. I love this kind of curved world that they have, and you're moving with it, and you can see a little bit further and further into the distance. I thought was really well done and a fun, kind of different mix-up of what you would normally see on the top-down hack and slash. It is very Soulsy. It's going to punish you. You will restart checkpoints and fight off the same enemies or possibly kill them and not have them come back. But man, oh man, the art style is dope, Parris. It encourages you to go out and explore, and it's worth exploring, whether you get new weapons to try, new items to add onto your character to really buff that person up. And it is a Souls game, Parris. When I think of this, it's like, yeah, there's different weapons to try and new builds. There's different pieces of armor that are going to slow you down. There are pieces of armor that are light that are going to keep you moving fast. And there are punishing enemies all around this world that are going to make you bang the controller on the desk, and it's punishing fun. And I am excited for this game. I think we're right around the corner from it. I don't think we have to wait too much longer, thankfully, for us to go more hands-on on this game.
Yeah. They said, I forget the exact date in April, but it is April. Early access will open up and people will be able to try it for themselves. But because I know what we got to play was kind of limited to, a few creators got to do it live on stream, things like that. I got to be able to play it as well. And I loved it. Like, honestly, I was sad because I didn't realize it was going to turn off. And early this week, I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to jump back in and play. And I went on Steam and it was saying buy it. And I was like, oh, they turned it off. I can't play it no more. So yeah, I'm looking forward to next month. Definitely going to jump in early access.
Yes, as our director Kevin just showed you, they do have a big preview event up. It was 30 minutes, so if you want to hear from the team over at Moon Studios, if you want to really get into the world and see everything, The Wicked Inside, that happened on March 1st, that is the video to go watch. I'm telling you, it was great. I live reacted to it here at Kind of Funny and then proceeded to play the build that was available to a number of us out there to show off. So yeah, go check that out. This game right around the corner in April is going to be a really good time right there.
Now I got a question, and I've only, just to shift gears back into the world of Xbox directly. Towerborn. I've seen some stuff. It looks like they're going to do like a insider preview. I guess, people can sign up for to be able to play it. But man, when is this game coming out? That's another one I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on. I was hopeful that it was something that was going to come out the first half of the year, but now it's not looking like it will. So I definitely hope we get more updates on that and get a release date on it, where it's maybe it might drop this summer or something like that.
Yeah, this is a fun one that, we've had a lot of insider information from Jez Corden over at Windows Central. Shout out to Jez, who's done a great job kind of like sharing details that he's received about this. And then we've seen the game come to light. We've seen gameplay. We've kind of seen the reveal. And I am excited to see this. I'm apprehensive of like, will I vibe with this? But coming off of No Rest for the Wicked, I love this kind of medieval fantasy world, and I want more of it in my life. And Towerborn should be a nice maybe possible sleeper hit, like you said, for Xbox, another win in a long category. Remember, Matt Booty said, 10 games this year? So I'm looking forward to a lot of titles, and Towerborn is high on the list of, could this be a really good time? I'm hoping so, Parris.
Do you want to try and guess the 10?
You want to try? I think we know a fair amount. I think, what did we add up? I think we had 7 or 8 already, right?
Yeah, because it's what? Hellblade 2.
Yep.
We know we're getting Aura, History Untold.
Yep.
We know we're getting Avowed.
Yep.
Indiana Jones.
Yes.
Stalker 2.
Ready? You just talked about.
I'm gonna say Replaced.
Oh, okay.
I think Replaced is still 2024. Please, Jesus, be 2024.
Okay.
And then with Towerborn,
yes,
that's 7.
Mm-hmm. We talked about it at the top of the show.
Yeah. So
Microsoft Flight Sim.
Yeah, duh, right. Yep. So that's 8. So then the other 2, is it like an expansion, potentially, the add-on to something?
Diablo expansion, you have to think, is probably included in that. I think there was one other expansion. Maybe World of Warcraft has an expansion as well. Might round out your 10 right there, Parris.
Yeah, so, but and we're missing it. And I'm someone's watching or listening is screaming right now. There's definitely an expansion that's supposed to come out this year, and I'm blanking on it. But that would be the 10 right there that I think he's talking about. Seems really solid to me. I think I can't complain about that. It's interesting that we're not going to get the kickoff to that until May with Hellblade 2, but then the cadence of games is going to be pretty consistent from that point if all of that delivers in 2024.
Should be a great back half of the year. It's been a slow start on the front half of the year here for Team Xbox. Once again, when you think about it, I can't recall any Xbox first-party titles jumping out at me to kick this year off yet. And I think that's one of those weird cycles we get in. We've talked about the start of the year. It has been very interesting for Xbox there's been 2 big positives that we just got done with the partner preview and the developer _direct. And those are great pillars right there, but we're still missing games. There's nothing to play. It's still very early on in the year, but that cadence, like we talk about, right? Once every quarter, or if you have 10 games, that's almost once a month, but we're not there yet. And we have these dry spells that kind of leave you going, what the heck is going on here?
Yeah, and hopefully they get that resolved. By the way, I know the one expansion people might be thinking of is, what is it, Shattered Space, I believe it's called, Starfield.
Oh, Starfield, great call out. I
got a feeling that's not this year, though. That's just my guess. I don't think it's going to be this year, but that obviously, if it were to be a surprise announcement at the showcase, would fit the bill for that. There's something that is bugging me. There's definitely something else we're missing that's at 10th one. But overall, to your point, that's just a thing. They just got to get down to that cadence where we don't have this gap from January to May where they don't have anything. It'd have been nice if something would have dropped in February. Then you had something, you know what I'm saying? Then something maybe in March or April. And then obviously you hit May and you just go from there and they're more consistent with it. Hopefully once we get to June and they do the showcase, they're putting some solid dates on a lot of this stuff as we go into 2025 and people can have a roadmap. Be definitive with your roadmap. If they could show that kind of confidence in June going into 2025, I think that'd be huge for Xbox.
I'm right there with you, Parris. I know the counterpoint to all of that is we got so many games, and we are thankful for great third parties and second parties stepping up and, adding all these games to play. But there is that conversation piece of what is coming from your team, and there is nothing at this time right now.
I know what we're forgetting.
Hit me.
Call of Duty. Call of Duty.
I'll tell you what, I can't wait for Call of Duty.
Yep. Because that's definitely going to be coming around late October, early November. So there you go. You're going to have Call of Duty at the end of the year. And on game. Now, we haven't talked about this specifically. So I love Phil. Phil's slick with his wording on stuff. Because if you go back to that Stephen Totillo interview he did, this is post business update. And they were talking about Game Pass and Call of Duty. And he was very specific to say the intent is for Call of Duty to be on Game Pass this year. It's the key word there, intent. Just a little bit of wiggle room there if it doesn't happen. I'm pretty sure they will. But I always pay attention to that stuff. I go, okay, what do you mean by intent? And
Yes.
why not just say it is coming to Game Pass? But he did, if you read the Stephen Totillo's article, they explain why there's a lot of infrastructure and logistics on the back end that need to be straightened out with acquiring Activision. This is why you've seen a slow rollout of Activision games coming into Game Pass. And I think Diablo is the first one at the end of this month.
Yes.
Right? I think, right? But it's the fact that not only does it need to be ready to go on console, it needs to be ready to go on PC, on cloud. I'm curious when I think about Call of Duty, just all the Activision games, but Call of Duty more specifically, is it going to be on the Xbox PC store? Is it just going to stay on BattleNet? Like, these are probably the things that they're still trying to figure out right now, because if you're going to tell me that Call of Duty is day one on Game Pass, then that means I go to the Xbox app on PC, and it should be available to me, right? So these are probably how they're trying to figure it out. Not to mention, if I don't want to use Game Pass to get Call of Duty, can I buy it off the Xbox store? I'm sure it's going to be on Steam, but are you still doing BattleNet? Like, what's going to happen to BattleNet? You know, like, there's a lot of Activision things they still need to answer, so people know where to go, you know, to get some of these titles as they come out. Which, again, going back to the Diablo one, I guess that'll kind of answer the question, because you would assume Diablo 4 will be on that Xbox PC app at the end of the month.
Yeah, I guess I haven't thought about that. That's a good call out there, Parris. That's right. Yeah, Diablo will be the official first Activision Blizzard King game to hit Game Pass. That's March 28th. And yeah, that's the fun one you talk about. The intent is right, Parris. I think we've had a lot of conversations back and forth of, contracts and like upholding those. And maybe it's not 2024. Maybe it will start next year. And I was under the understanding that Game Pass for Call of Duty would start next year, right? Maybe the intent of Call of Duty games previously would be on Game Pass this year. That would be a big win. But I don't expect, me personally, this new Call of Duty title being in Game Pass this year. We'll see.
We'll see. But I would think, if, not to turn this into the Call of Duty show, but I would think if they were not intending to have whatever this next Call of Duty on Game Pass this year, you say it now. Get that out of the way. Let people know, hey, we're working on it, but this year's Call of Duty won't be on Game Pass, but we're intending to have the back catalog of Call of Duty games on Game Pass in 2024. Because if this Call of Duty isn't there, that's going to be a disappointment to a lot of your community, your fan base. Whereas I was assuming that I've subscribed to Game Pass, I've invested in this, that arguably your biggest game is going to be there day one. But now it's not. So that's one thing I think they would have had to been specifically definitive on if the intention was not to have this year's Call of Duty in Game Pass.
Man, Parris, there's still so much gray area. That was we still haven't had that roundtable. We haven't had the clear message. We know the start of it, but we don't know the snowball effect of what does this deal finally being done truly mean. We haven't seen what it looks like from being a consumer side yet. Nothing has been locked in place.
Here's what I hope. I know they did the business update. I think they obviously had their reasons to do that, because they wanted to put some minds at ease and kind of get out in front of all the rumor and speculation that was going on. I still hope they do something specific for Activision for June.
Yes.
To your very point, to kind of sit down. Here's where we are with Activision. Here's where we intend to be by the end of 2024 and beyond, with acquiring Activision, integrating it into, obviously all of Xbox Game Studios, what you as a consumer can expect of Activision games, things like that. I would hope they're able to sit down, because don't take time away from the showcase to answer that stuff. I would rather the showcase just be about the games, let people be excited about it, get the business aspects of it out of the way ahead of time, so people can go into that June showcase with clear expectations on how Activision, Blizzard, and King is going to factor into all that stuff. Because let's not forget, there's another aspect of this that no one really talks about, but this is probably the biggest component: mobile.
Yeah.
Is Xbox going to attempt to do some kind of Game Pass variant for mobile with a lot of those mobile games? That'll be an interesting play as well. I mean, we already know Call of Duty Warzone is coming to mobile.
Yeah.
That is going to be an absolute monster. It's
gonna be crazy.
That happens. You know what I mean? So I would love to see them sit down, talk about that stuff. So we understand it. Again, a lot of people clearly that watch and listen to the show are on console, but there's a PC audience that's growing. Cloud seems to be picking up steam as well. And mobile's a thing. I mean, Destin Legary talks about this a lot, and I agree with him. We're getting to the point where these phones are powerful enough to start playing a lot of these games that we enjoy. Because I think Resident Evil 4 right now, you can play on a 15 Pro, and it's the same damn game you would play on a console, which is crazy. So as technology advances more, and as we get into this, mobile is going to play an even bigger factor in just our daily gaming. I think.
Man, Parris, that's a lot to break down there because, I would like in June to celebrate the deal. I would like to see back catalog games be added in that day and be celebrated and excited about that, right? On the mobile side, Parris, I don't know. I'm not a big mobile guy. I definitely see the vision of what you're talking about with the games that are now playable on that, but I think Candy Crush Saga, and I go, not for me, right? I think of Call of Duty Warzone or Call of Duty Mobile that are most likely free to play on my mobile phone right now, and it just doesn't benefit me as a free game on my mobile phone, but I do see the future. But I'm looking at hey, where's that back catalog from Prototype to Spyro to Crash to the Call of Duties, right? We're talking about Call of Duty games right now that recently, within this past year, got a nice server bump, right? These older title games are now really playable at a much stable pace than before. Where are those? Those should be there. Instead of spending $30 to $40 on some of these titles to get backwards compatibility on them, why are they not on Game Pass? I expect in June for us to have a moment where we got to celebrate that. I think they did a good job with Bethesda in those first early years of, hey, Bethesda has their own thing, but we're still tied into them. And then we kind of brought them all into the fold. I think you got to do something with Activision Blizzard King during that June showcase for sure to celebrate and raise a lot of awareness.
Well, I think, and not to stick on this topic too long, but I think the way I'm looking at it is all the business stuff of it, get that out of the way ahead of time. And to your point, when you get to the showcase, of course, Activision Blizzard's going to be a part of the showcase, but then when you see these games, day one on Game Pass, this is coming here, you just get to celebrate and be excited about it versus worrying, well, is there going to be backwards compatibility? Is there going to be no, you already know about that. They're bringing the back catalog into Game Pass, into the ecosystem, so to speak. And you can just go forward to there. But I do want to circle back to the mobile thing really quick. I think what you said is important. We're the people that on the show now and that are watching and listening to the show, we aren't the people that consume mobile games.
Yeah.
It's not. I ain't playing Candy Crush. I'm not playing Call of Duty Mobile on there. But there is obviously a huge audience out there that does. And I think that's what Phil was alluding to in the business update of we got to try and reach more people. It's those people on mobile that they're trying to reach. I can see a scenario, and this will probably be in the next generation of hardware, but I can see a scenario, again, let's just say Call of Duty as an example. The Call of Duty that you play on your phone is the same Call of Duty that you're playing on your console. And all the progress, everything is seamless across the board. So I could be on my console in my living room playing Call of Duty with my buddies. I got to go. I can hop on my phone, continue it. Now, obviously, the controls and everything might be a little different, but you can continue that experience on your mobile device natively. You don't have to cloud stream it or any of that. Maybe there might be an Xbox handheld that comes one day. Continue it obviously on that. But these games start to just be a seamless experience across all platforms. I think that's kind of the end game that they're trying to get to. Obviously, cloud's going to help with that from a streaming standpoint. But the more you can have these games native across all your screens, and it's the same game that you're playing no matter what, the better. So I see a future for that for sure. I mean, not short term, maybe 10 years from now, but it's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk mobile in the future with you, Parris, right? Because when I think mobile and I look at the King offering of games, right, it is something that my quote-unquote mom would play, right? Candy Crush, you have Farm Hero Saga. Like, you look at these games and go, well, the average console gamer probably is not jumping into this, right? Like the pie chart is not saying 98% of Call of Duty players want this, but there is a market, and it is going to be interesting of how do they tap into that market? How do they make those players aware of the other benefits while also making those, but also catering us, bringing us into mobile? It's going to be a fun, interesting situation here in the future. I can't wait to watch and talk about with you and live here in the real world. It's going to be a wild situation. Parris,
absolutely.
we got so much more show to go. We got a lot of fun things to talk about. And I love that we're having a good conversation today. It is nice. It's a slower news week once again, but we have found some fun things to talk about. And we're going to talk about more right after a word from our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by Shady Rays, an independent sunglasses brand that has over 300,000 five-star reviews. They are on a mission to match affordability with durability, making top-quality shades accessible to everyone. They have tons of styles and colors to pick from, so finding the best polarized shades is a breeze. Get ready for a whole new level of clarity with Shady Rays Pro Polarized lenses. This lens tech is all about tough durability and vibrant colors that pop. Here at Kinda Funny, we all love wearing our Shady Rays. Whether it's Tim looking dope during his Pokemon Go walks, Snowbike Mike rocking the snow goggles, or Joey just looking fantastic in her tangle-free shades. If your shades go MIA or take a hit, don't sweat it. They've got lost and broken protection, so you're covered from day one. And if you don't love your shades, exchange or return them for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Exclusively for y'all, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code KF20 for $20 off each pair of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Again, that is shadyrays.com and use code KF20 for $20 off each pair of polarized sunglasses.
Shout out to Factor for sponsoring this episode. Eating better is easy with Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals. Joey has been loving her Factor meals because every fresh, never frozen meal is chef-crafted, dietitian-approved, and ready to go in just 2 minutes. You'll have over 35 different options to choose from every week, including Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Also, there are more than 60 add-ons to help you stay fueled up and feeling good all day long. Factor meals are ready to heat and eat, so there's no prepping, cooking, or cleanup needed. And Factor is flexible for your schedule. Get as much or as little as you need by choosing your meals every week. We've done the math. Factor is less expensive than takeout, and every meal is dietitian approved to be nutritious and delicious. A ton of us here at Kinda Funny have been so thankful for Factor since we've been in the new studio, and you can too. Head to factormeals.com/kindafunny50 and use code kindafunny50 to get 50% off. That's code kindafunny50 at factormeals.com/kindafunny50 to get 50% off.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Parris, talking about more. We got more games coming to more consoles. We talked about it already in the past couple of weeks, but here's a cool little thing to note. Sea of Thieves is the #1 most pre-ordered game on the PlayStation charts here in the US and some other territories. This is coming from our friend of the show and industry analyst, Benji Sales, who shared it over on Twitter and X, saying that, hey, the Sea of Thieves has hit the most pre-ordered game on the PlayStation charts in the US over the weekend, currently sitting at $39.99. Pretty impressive stuff there, Parris. So I wanted to give a congratulations out to the Rare team. That's awesome to see the excitement to jump in and, of course, pay for that game full price, but to see others be able to play, this is going to be cool to see.
No, it definitely is. I wonder, because they're going to do cross-play, and I wonder how you could differentiate it, but I wonder if you could see PlayStation community versus Xbox community battling it out in Sea of Thieves, right? And then you got the PC guys on the side go, we got mouse and keyboard, we'll destroy all of you. But no, it's great to see. It's great to see that Sea of Thieves, which has come a long way since it first came out in 2017, that it's in a very mature state right now, content rich. People on PlayStation now get to experience it, and you see that there are people on PlayStation that are excited to check it out, obviously, with the pre-order. So, yeah, like you said, congrats to Rare. I mean, I'll leave the arguing about multi-platform and all that to other people. At the end of the day, it's supposed to be about the game, so more people getting to play the game is great.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah, Sea of Thieves is in its best place that it's ever been, and it's grown to become in that spot, like you said, with all the content, safer shores as well for new players to be able to jump into PvE situations without me and my crew trolling you and chasing you all around the map. Is going to be awesome. And yeah, it does lead to some fun ideas, like you said, Parris, with crossplay and these different communities. Could you do some sort of fun global event of PlayStation versus Xbox and PC over there and do something cool? Because what I really love about Sea of Thieves is the cosmetics and the tie-ins that they've done with other games, whether it be Banjo, Halo, Gears of War. They've done a fantastic job showing off other games and putting it in their world. I would love to see some tie-ins with some PlayStation stuff. I'd love to see a PlayStation exclusive ship bundle, maybe that vibrant blue, maybe some of the sacred symbols. That would be really cool to see around in the Seven Seas.
You might break the internet with that one, Mike. I don't know about that one.
You do it, Rare. Don't be afraid. I'm all about it. We got to have fun, Parris. But you know who's having fun? Is our friends over at PS I Love You XOXO. Later on in the week, are going to celebrate and talk about some of the Xbox games coming their way. And they're actually having a big March Madness bracket tournament that you can go participate in on what is the most desired Xbox game to come to PlayStation. It doesn't have to be those four. They're dreaming up the biggest and the baddest. So, Parris, I thought we'd help them and give a couple of good suggestions on what we'd like to see. Maybe either win that bracket or just come over. Do you have a couple? Because I got some fun ones, Parris. I got some fun ones for us.
So these are Xbox games that people would want on PlayStation? Is
yes,
that what we're saying?
Of course. I think it's from the lens of a PlayStation player. What games do you want from Xbox over on you? And of course, we know what they're going to go for. The Halos, the Gears, the Forzas. But there's some fun ones I think we could throw out on the list.
Oh, I think there's one that's pretty obvious. Starfield.
Oh, that's a good one, Parris. That's a good one.
Starfield, of course.
I like that.
And if you let the internet tell it, Hellblade 2. No, I mean, yeah, obviously the ones that you said. I mean, the Halo, the Gears, the Forzas, those are easy ones. Yeah, but I legitimately think a Starfield would be interesting. I think an Avowed would also be something that people would want. Ori's on PlayStation, right?
It is not that. I did my little research beforehand. I did not see it on PlayStation,
Okay,
so
well,
I have Ori on my list.
Yeah, Ori and the Blind Forest. Again, that would definitely be one I'm sure people would love to be able to play on a PlayStation. I mean, it's a long ways out, but Fable.
Fable's good. Okay. Oh, I like that you're going for future titles here.
Yeah.
I actually have some older ones. How about Rare Replay? 30 games in the Rare catalog for you to be able to go out and celebrate. Perfect Dark's in the mix in there. You got Banjo in there. I think you got some good titles in there that we could celebrate. Tell me.
Flight Sim.
I got that on my list too. Flight Sim, come on, man, would be awesome. Another fun one for you, Sunset Overdrive. We talk about it as being one of the best Xbox One titles. Insomniac,
but
they got that.
They
Why
own
not?
it now, right?
They do. They do.
Owns it, so they could put it on there at any time.
Put it on there. Why not?
Yeah,
Let's have some fun with that. And my final one, Parris. Here's an interesting one that surprisingly we haven't talked about. State of Decay. State of Decay 2 has a lot of content, live service-esque game there. You can share it with your friends. State of Decay 2 could be a great title to add on there.
Now, can we do a PSA?
Yes.
Dear Xbox community, we're not advocating giving away all your Xbox games to PlayStation. This is all for fun.
All for fun. All for fun.
That's all. But yeah, those would definitely be games that I think people on PlayStation would have a blast with. But especially, like I said, when you look ahead, like I think about a Blade. Come on. Of course.
Yeah.
They're going to want that.
That'll be a fun podcast to listen to. And of course, to see the community over with the Kind of Funny Best Friends on the PlayStation side. What are some of those titles they're really looking forward to? What will battle through the fun bracket challenges? Because, of course, March Madness right around the corner. We'll see the 16 versus 1 upset. It'll be great.
So I have a question about that episode.
Tell me.
Is Greg on it?
No, Greg is not on it.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Then carry on. Fine. Are you on it?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
This is going to be a Blessing and Roger team up. Okay. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay, that will be balanced. It'll be fair. It'll be reasonable. It'll be very enjoyable. If Greg was on there, it'd be freaking chaos. So good that he's not on there.
Parris, let's talk about some more fun. Of course, we have some cool Fallout details. Of course, South by Southwest just happened. Todd Howard and the team from the Fallout TV show were out there celebrating, talking about it, doing the fun press junket as one does on South by Southwest. And we got some cool details about the TV show and, of course, Fallout 5. Or what could be Fallout 6. A lot of people got hung up on it, Parris. They were worried that the TV show was Fallout 5, but it's not Fallout 5. So I got the clear up for all of you on that one.
So let me start this conversation off with this. So Xbox sent over.
Ooh, that's fancy.
Yeah, directly from Xbox Design Lab. I did a video on Twitter. I kept saying Design Labs. I don't know why I was saying that, but Design Lab. This is the Fallout controller. This one is kind of the gray gold variant of it. But yeah, it's really dope. And obviously with the Fallout TV show about to come out, they put these out in Design Lab so people can go check it out. But again, I want to thank Xbox for sending it over.
Yeah.
And yes, I have way too many controllers. Again, this is where I miss Gary. Gary would lay out all his controllers.
Oh, Gary would be real
shame me.
uptight that you got this without him. We'll have to check in on him,
But I'm definitely anticipating this show coming out next month in April on Prime Video. But it's interesting the conversation that Todd Howard had about it. Like the fact that he let them know there were certain plot points that they could not go down because they're going to be in Fallout 5. Great.
Yes.
That made me think, Mike, and I tweeted this out earlier. Todd, if you're making Starfield, Shattered Space, if you're working on Elder Scrolls 6, I need you to put on your executive producer hat and give Fallout 5 to another studio, please.
Oh, wow.
As much as I would want to see Bethesda themselves do it, they're clearly busy. We're not going to get a Fallout 5 until the 2030s, if that's the case.
That is correct. That is true.
And look, and I understand the argument that, well, you have Fallout 76. Even Fallout 76 has been out for a while. At this point, I forget the exact date. Is it 2018, 2017, something like that?
I'm going to look it up. But it's been a while. It's right.
Yeah, but it's been out for a while. And I know they're continuing to update it, and they're putting out, new content, which is great. But I do want a self-contained single player Fallout experience. I want to see that. And when I tweeted it out, what I saw a lot of people were saying, well, let Todd do Fallout 5. Just give us like another New Vegas or something like that in the interim. And I'd be okay with that too. I guess I just want to be able to return to that world and have a brand new story within that world that isn't tied to any kind of multiplayer or live service or any of that. It's a single player Fallout experience, like 3, like 4, like New Vegas. I want to see something like that come from that because clearly there's an audience for it. Like I've randomly gone back and played 3 and I kind of dipped my toe into New Vegas a little bit over the past few years. It's absolutely still hold up. New Vegas, in my opinion, is one of the best video games ever made, from Obsidian. And that was funny. Just seeing what some people were saying about who should make it. And they were screaming, Obsidian should make it. Obsidian's busy too.
Very busy. They're very busy.
They're doing Avowed, and they've got Outer Worlds 2 that they're working on. I mean, continuing with Grounded. They got a lot of stuff going on. So I'm not expecting Obsidian to do it. And Exile's working on Clockwork Revolution. We know it is working on something secret. Hopefully we'll hear about that in June. It's like people are going down the list of studios. So look, I don't know who can make it. Machine Games obviously is doing Indiana Jones and, knock on wood, Wolfenstein 3, hopefully. But I don't know who should make it, but we should get another Fallout game within the next few years. I get the rumblings of potentially a remaster of like Fallout 3 coming or something like that. That would be cool. Yeah. But again, that's a story that we've already played. I already know that story. I already know everything about it. I want something brand new in the Fallout universe. So we know you watch. Because you say it, you told us, we know that you watch Xcast. Come on, let's find somebody to make Fallout 5 in the interim or something, a New Vegas 2, anything. Look, Fallout San Francisco, whatever you want to call it, I don't care. Just give me something new in Fallout. That's all I want.
Oh, you're the best, Parris. And I think you voice for many of us as we all want to see more Fallout. We need Fallout, and waiting is just so far away is right. I do think that Todd is 5. I think you give it to another studio with a different title is right. The main number is got to be Todd and the team, but it is very far away. And I am excited to see what Todd and the team do, especially since they're already talking about plot points and where they want to go with the story and what the vision is. That's exciting to me, right? Where we've gone so far from DC up to Boston, we've gotten New Vegas with Obsidian. I love the locations and I'm excited to see what's next. And I love that the team is thinking about that. I mean, we talked about adding a brand new IP in Starfield after 25 years of Elder Scrolls and, of course, Fallout. It's exciting that you have 3 stellar franchises and genres that you can go back and forth between. And, of course, when you're in the cycle and on the wheel, one's going to be up and then the other one is going to be rotating down and waiting. So it's going to be a while. I mean, yeah, you brought up Obsidian. There's a number of studios that would make a great Fallout game. I look to Fallout London, which is a generated mod game that people are making out there that looks very promising and exciting. If you're looking for more Fallout in your life, I think that'll be something to keep an eye on, especially on like a user generated creation side of like, that's cool that people are making stuff within Fallout 4 via those mods and creating something so vast and giant. That's going to be awesome as can be. And I do agree. I don't know if I would want a Fallout 3 remake as much as I would play it and probably enjoy it. I've been there, done that is right, Parris. I don't want to go back to Fallout 3. Fallout 4, I know we're waiting on that next-gen patch still. That's kind of just up in the air, so that will be cool. But, man, I agree. Maybe Fallout New Vegas 2 would be the true answer, Parris. If you get all the time and the money in the world, that would be the one I'd want to deal with.
Yeah, I hear you, man. But I think, again, that just attributes to how great the Fallout franchise has been over the past decade plus that, people want more of it. So hopefully we don't have to wait too long.
It is iconic. I get excited, when we brought up this topic and we saw Todd talk about it and the excitement from the showrunners to be able to play in this universe and create their own original story, right? It is exciting to me. You think about some of like the key pieces of Fallout. You think about the rat away. You think about the medicine that's in there. You think about the cockroaches, the rad roaches, and like all those iconic characters. Like, oh man, you can really play in this and have some fun and what they're going to do with it. The cool moments that you'll see that you're like, oh, I remember that from the game, or like kind of those cool characters that are in the game that aren't in the game. You get what I'm talking about, but I'm excited to see those kind of tie-ins, which will be awesome. And yeah, the question is, Parris, when, but also where do we want it? I know we talked about this before, but where is the next Fallout really set? Where do you want it to be? It's got to have an iconic location. What is that?
I think, and I know it's the mod already, but like when you said London, I was like, wait, that would be a perfect location for it. I think Chicago would be another great Fallout location. Like I jokingly said, San Francisco. Yeah, why not? I think the TV show is Los Angeles. LA,
yeah, that is correct. SoCal, so that will be fun. For me, it's very interesting, right? We've had some great spots here in the States, but I have a hard time like finding one that would make me really pop. I brought up a fun one in my mind of Fallout Yellowstone and really getting out in the woods and the forest and kind of big game hunting would be cool. But I think maybe going overseas, Sydney, Australia could be cool. Going out to London somewhere in Europe would be awesome as well. But you have so much to play with, and what will they do? There's got to be some cool spot because I loved Diamond City kind of being Fenway Park and having that as your home base in Fallout 4. I thought was so cool as one of the first settlements. So I'm excited, but also dream plot lines. It is interesting to me, Parris, when we think about, oh, don't do that. We might do that for the plot. What is the plot? How do you bring something new? Because it always feels like I come out of the vault and I got to find somebody. I got to find my main man, Parris. I got to find Dad. I got to find my son. So it's like, how do you make that feel different or fresh? Or will that kind of always be the main plot line of a Fallout type situation?
I think it should always be the opening plot point for every Fallout game, because that's kind of the journey of these people that have literally spent centuries down in these vaults and not understanding what the real world is like on the surface, and then having that point of view as you come out. Again, one of the most iconic shots is Fallout 3 when you first come out of the vault. So I think they should always have that there. But then at that point, let's branch off into something else. Let's tell something else unique with the story. But starting off with a vault dweller coming to the surface, I think is just kind of the signature for Fallout games to do that. So I definitely don't think they need to change it.
Yeah, you'll always have the fish out of water vibe coming from that interview they did of like, yeah, you're coming into a new world that you don't know of. You're always probably searching for someone. There's got to be some sort of directive to get you there.
Yeah.
But, I love Fallout New Vegas and what that was where, you're a courier and then you go down and you get brought back up and you're like, I got to go find my package. I like that. So I'm excited to see what Todd and the team do. It is very far away, Parris. And I am on the side of I don't think we'll ever get a Fallout, side story from someone else. In between then, I think you and I and everyone else have to probably wait till Fallout 5, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Which is too bad.
Unfortunately.
Parris, you know what? I didn't tell you, but you look very good today. I want you to know that.
Thank
You
you.
look great. And I
Thank
noticed, for everyone watching right now, you probably noticed Parris' camera hasn't gone out lately. So that's a good segue into, hey, Parris, I know you got a new camera. Why don't you tell me about what's going on over there?
Yes, our good friends over at Logitech G, they sent over, they was like, Parris, your camera, dude, keeps going out. We got to fix this. Come on, we're going to help you out. But no, they just launched a new product. They launched their Brio line. They launched, it's the MX Brio. It's their next gen webcam. Does 4K 30, does 1080p 60 frames, and you can control it all through the Logitech G app on your PC as far as changing the focus, exposure, white balance, all that. And you're obviously looking at me right now. I've been on this camera this entire time, and it's great. Works great. USB-C, plug it right into the PC, and knock on wood, it won't go out. So I think we might be good, but I do appreciate Logitech sending it over to me and allowing me to test drive it and check it out. And the best way to review it is to let people just see me in action on it right now. So you're seeing the picture quality for yourself right now where we're doing Xcast. And it's been working great. Even if you go on Twitter, the video that I put where I unboxed the Fallout controller was on this camera as well. So you can check out the quality there too. Yep.
Nice. There you go. You guys can check it out. Yeah, I was going to say you look good. You haven't jumped in and out, which is always a positive, which we love over here. But yeah, I'm always interested. I love when you get these new, pieces of equipment that you get to review and kind of talk tech with us and always share what are you looking at. And that's the fun part of, we've talked about handhelds with you a lot. We've talked about, of course, controllers and consoles, but now we get into cameras and it's like, what are some of the key features you're looking for from a camera? And also like, what are some of the features on the user side that you really enjoy out of this?
I mean, for me, it's pretty simple. Being because since I'm the remote user here at Kind of Funny, I obviously always have to make sure that my setup at home is working and in proper order, bro. That when I talked to Brian from 343 and it cut out like 2 minutes in, I was like, this is a disaster. I gotta figure out something. But having a reliable camera that, from a software standpoint, again, like I was just pointing out, I'm able to kind of go and change the white balance, soften the colors if I need to, have that autofocus so I don't have to worry about it, tracking away. Like I do this, it's going to pull the focus in. So you see that right there, right? Boom. Autofocus on it's working great. Those are kind of just my main things. And that obviously is just going to be reliable, that I don't have to think about it. It's just going to work. And this one, like I said, it works great. And the fact that I can record in 4K if I need to, for content that I would do offline, or if I'm streaming, I can stream at 1080p. I can have it at 60 frames if I need to, whatever the case. So, I mean, those are the kind of things that I look for. And it's amazing how far webcam technology has come in the past 10 years. Because if you go back and look at some stuff I did 10 years ago, it's just a blurry mess. But that's just where the tech was. I mean, you would literally have to go get a DLSR camera to be able to try and replicate what these webcams now are able to do. And this new one from Logitech, the MX Brio, is great.
Oh, I love seeing you in picture perfect quality. It makes me smile. So thank you out there for sending Parris a brand new webcam. And also, Parris, let's end the show with a big thank you to Team Xbox for some more games coming to Game Pass. We didn't talk about it at the beginning of the month. We're almost halfway through the month already, which is wild. But you do have some new games for March, and you actually have some really great standouts that I want to make sure we put people on already available, Warhammer 40K Bolt Gun is available on cloud, console, and PC. If you're looking for that old school Doom Wolfenstein look and feel, this is it right here. A lot of high praise from Bolt Gun. All my friends that have played it have talked highly about it. You should definitely check that one out. Coming up next, for all the families out there, Gary Whitta, Paw Patrol, Paw Patrol World, cloud, console, and PC. You have SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom, rehydrated. I know Barrett has played that. You have, if you're riding the high off Alan Wake, Control Ultimate Edition, cloud, console, and PC. So that's a great one to go back to if you didn't play it. On March 14th, the day that you're listening to this, No More Heroes 3 is available on cloud, console, and PC. And then, here's a cool one. Lightyear Frontier. It's coming to game preview, cloud, PC, and Xbox Series X and S on March 19th. This is available day one on Game Pass. We have seen this a bunch. This is like that farming survival sim inside of the mech. I've looked at this a lot. I'm finally excited to be able to play this, so that will be cool. And then, if you missed it, over on PS I Love You XOXO, I sat down with the team from Sony San Diego to talk about MLB The Show 24 coming back to Game Pass, cloud and console on March 19th. Parris, more baseball in our lives, and I love that.
Yes, sir. And by the way, you did a great job on that too.
Thank you, Parris. I asked Ramon and the team from Sony San Diego if they have time after this game launches to come back and talk with you and I here on the Xcast because, of course, it is an awesome game. It is a great baseball sim. It is awesome that we get it on Game Pass and we get to celebrate a Sony game coming over here that we get to play via a subscription service. But most importantly, what they've done. We talked about storylines last year and having the Negro Leagues really highlighted, 10 players being showcased and immortalized in this video game in that kind of edutainment, they call it, education and entertainment mixing together. And what they did with Bob Kendrick from that museum and how flashy it was to watch, how informative it was, and how much fun it was to not only watch and play, but the whole package was great. And so I got to sat down with Ramon Russell and talk about it again. 8 players now from the Negro Leagues being shown. Toni Storm, the first ever female player in the major leagues to be shown as well. I thought that was awesome. And they're doing a different release now. They're going to do 3 players at the beginning, and then they're going to stagger out the rest of the players, which I thought was great. They're adding defensive moments now as well. So you're not only on offense, you're actually going to showcase defense. Because why, Parris? To add on to storylines, on top of that, they're bringing the captain. Derek Jeter will be involved in this, and it is very cool to see what they've done on the normal storylines look to now going to New York in the late 90s, early 2000s with Derek Jeter and showcasing his story. You're on a subway, you see the subway train station route, and like you're going from bump to bump. Jeter, kind of that early hip hop vibe too. It is something special, Parris, and I cannot wait for people to play. Here's what I'd like to say to everyone, to the team out there at Sony San Diego and anyone watching and listening. This is something where when you see something special, you feel it and you know it. And that is what storylines is to me, and I hope the whole entire world. It gives me goosebumps. It brings me to tears to smile and celebrate our history and where we've came from and the good in the world and how important sports in our lives can be. And it is awesome to see this team take that and really make sure it's represented in the positive light and in the right way. And it is, it's baseball and you might not vibe with that. It is educational. You might not vibe with that, but somehow they mix it in this pot. And it is truly something that I think everyone on planet Earth should see. It is awesome that they're able to put this in front of Congress and encourage people in education to show this, to say, hey, video games aren't just Grand Theft Auto. It's so much more. And the team and what they've created here is a must-see. It's a must-play. And I'm passionate about it. And I hope that everybody gets to see it. It's so cool.
Yeah, that is awesome. Yeah, again, it's the franchise. They iterate every year and just keep improving it every year with something new. So this is exciting to see.
Check it out, everybody. Parris, that will wrap up our week of another kind of funny Xcast. It was fun to sit down with you, talk about Xbox and beyond. I'm excited for the weeks to come. We have GDC right around the corner here in sunny San Francisco. We're going to be checking out some indie titles and talking with some game developers. So that will be awesome. Don't forget, 2 weeks from now, really next week when you're listening to this, I'll be at PAX East with Obsidian if you want to celebrate Grounded with me during that panel, or you can watch it live on Saturday over on the PAX Twitch channel, so check that out. Parris, before we go, you talked about a video of the controller. Anything cool that you want to tell the people about?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Like I said, I showed off the controller already on here. I would definitely say if you're interested in Fallout, you like Fallout, go to Design Labs. You can go create your own and have it delivered to you. But my main thing is, like we already said, I don't want to wait to 2035 for Fallout 5. Come on, Todd, help us out.
Leave a comment down below how excited you are for Fallout 5, what you want out of it, and if you want it sooner, what studio should be working on it. Let's have a conversation next week all about it and your comments and thoughts. Until then, that's Parris. I'm Mike. We'll see you back here next week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Goodbye, everyone.